The trade tensions between the United States and China have escalated into one of the most significant economic confrontations in modern history. Both nations are vying for technological and economic dominance, reshaping global supply chains, alliances, and economic strategies. This script explores the historical roots of trade conflicts, the evolution of the US-China trade war, and its implications on the global stage. Historical context 1. The Opium Wars. Trade conflicts between China and Western powers date back to the 19th century. The Opium Wars serve as one of the earliest examples of how trade disputes can profoundly alter national trajectories. Britain's demand for Chinese goods such as silk, tea, and porcelain created a trade imbalance. To offset this, Britain exported opium from India to China, leading to widespread addiction and social upheaval. The Qing dynasty's attempts to suppress the trade, including Lin Zexu's confiscation and destruction of opium in 1839, led to military conflicts. The British, armed with superior naval power, defeated China and forced the signing of the Treaty of Nanking in 1842. This treaty ceded Hong Kong to Britain, opened several ports to foreign trade, and imposed heavy reparations on China. The subsequent Convention of Beijing in 1860 legalized the opium trade, opened additional ports, and granted foreign powers significant privileges, marking the start of China's century of humiliation. These treaties weakened the Qing dynasty, fostered internal instability, and exposed China to foreign exploitation, laying a foundation for its future resistance to external control. Second Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, 1930. Fast-forwarding to the 20th century, the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act was a pivotal moment in U.S. trade policy. Designed to protect American industries during the Great Depression, it raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods. While the intent was to safeguard domestic jobs, the act triggered retaliatory tariffs from other nations. This led to a 65% reduction in global trade between 1929 and 1934, exacerbating the economic downturn. Canada, a major U.S. trading partner, imposed tariffs on key American exports, while countries in Europe and Asia followed suit. U.S. exports plummeted by 61%, from $5.4 billion in 1929 to $2.1 billion in 1933, deepening unemployment and prolonging the Great Depression. The Smoot-Hawley Act remains a cautionary tale about the unintended consequences of protectionist policies, demonstrating how they can backfire and lead to broader economic harm. The long-term impact of the Act has shaped subsequent trade policies, emphasizing the importance of multilateral agreements over unilateral measures. 3. The Chicken War, 1960s. The 1960s brought another trade conflict, this time between the US and European nations over poultry. Dubbed the Chicken War, it began when European countries imposed tariffs on American chicken imports to protect their domestic markets. In retaliation, the US levied a 25% tariff on European goods, including light trucks. While tariffs on other goods were later removed, the chicken tax on light trucks remains, significantly shaping the US automotive industry. It forced foreign automakers to establish manufacturing plants in the US, altering global trade dynamics in the automotive sector. The legacy of the Chicken War is evident today, as this enduring tariff continues to influence the structure of international trade agreements and industrial strategies. Current US-China trade war 1 Trump-era policies. The current US-China trade war officially began in 2018 during President Donald Trump's administration. The US imposed tariffs under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, citing intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and unfair trade practices by China. The first wave targeted $34 billion in Chinese goods, including machinery and electronics. China retaliated with tariffs on US agricultural products, including soybeans and pork. By the end of 2019, the US had imposed tariffs on $550 billion worth of Chinese imports, extending to consumer goods like electronics, textiles, and toys. China targeted $185 billion in US exports. American farmers, heavily reliant on Chinese markets, suffered significant losses, prompting the US government to provide over $28 billion in aid between 2018 and 2020. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York estimated that the tariffs cost the average American household $831 annually, underscoring the domestic economic impact. The focus on tariffs brought attention to long-standing trade imbalances, but it also revealed the challenges of decoupling two deeply intertwined economies. Second, technological rivalry. A major front in the trade war, has been technological competition. The US restricted China's access to critical technologies, such as semiconductors, by blacklisting companies like Huawei and SMIC. These measures aim to maintain US dominance in industries like AI, quantum computing, and telecommunications. However, they also spurred China's efforts towards self-sufficiency. Massive state investments have bolstered domestic innovation, enabling Chinese companies to develop advanced technologies and diversify supply chains. China's retaliation. China has countered US restrictions with strategic measures of its own, including banning exports of rare earth materials essential for industries like semiconductors and defense. These materials, such as gallium and germanium, are critical to US manufacturing. The ban has disrupted supply chains, driven up prices, and forced US industries to seek alternative sources, often at significant cost. China's actions highlight its leverage in the global supply chain and its ability to retaliate effectively against US policies. Additionally, these moves underscore the need for diversification in critical material sourcing, as over-reliance on a single country poses risks for global stability. Geopolitical dimensions. 1. BRICS currency initiatives. China, as a leading member of BRICS, has actively promoted efforts to reduce dependence on the US dollar. Initiatives include encouraging the use of the yuan in global trade, establishing currency swap agreements, and launching yuan-denominated financial instruments. For instance, China has urged Middle Eastern oil suppliers to accept yuan for transactions, challenging the dollar's dominance in the energy sector. 2. Russia and Iran's de-dollarization. Russia and Iran have taken steps to bypass US-controlled financial systems. In 2023, they finalized agreements to conduct bilateral trade in local currencies, reducing reliance on the dollar. These efforts are part of a broader strategy to build alternative financial infrastructures, such as the New Development Bank, which aims to fund projects independently of Western-dominated systems. These developments highlight a shifting global economic landscape, with nations seeking greater financial sovereignty. Economic and strategic implications. The US-China trade war has accelerated economic decoupling, with both nations striving to reduce interdependence. For the US, rising costs and supply chain disruptions have created challenges for industries reliant on Chinese goods. For China, the trade war has spurred domestic innovation and strengthened its position in global trade networks. Globally, the fragmentation of trade alliances has prompted countries to diversify their supply chains, benefiting from companies seeking to reduce exposure to US-China tensions. However, this realignment also risks diminishing US influence and complicating long-standing alliances. Conclusion. From the Opium Wars to the Smoot-Hawley Act, history underscores the profound impact of trade conflicts on global economics and geopolitics. The ongoing US-China trade war, driven by technological rivalry and strategic tensions, continues to reshape international dynamics. Navigating these challenges requires thoughtful policies and collaboration to ensure a stable and resilient global economy.